I have a really simple point I want to make in this video. Heavy spoilers for Obi Wan Kenobi, the TV show, right off the bat. Also, minor spoilers for everything else Star Wars related, because I'm a giant Star Wars fan and I'm going to be talking about everything Star Wars related. If you don't want to talk about Star Wars and all the stuff we've seen so far, this is your cue to exit. But let's get going, okay? Darth Vader. I want to talk about this. Darth Vader is one of all of our favorites, right? Everyone loves Darth Vader. The point of Darth Vader is he is the icon of basically fear. He shows up on this scene, and it might as well be Scarecrow from Batman because everyone's terrified. It's like, oh shit, Vader is here. I mean, so much where in Obi-Wan, we're even thinking about Vader, you could see the PTSD written across Obi-Wan's face, and that's honestly just amazing acting. But on top of it, I also think it's good writing. Here's the thing. I'm not going to defend the Obi-Wan TV show. I know people have their own problems with it. None of the Leia, like, running around Power Ranger stuff actually matters for this conversation, because my point is every single time we see Darth Vader, not only in Obi-Wan Kenobi, but in anything outside of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm talking Rogue One. I'm talking Rebels. Anytime we actually see Darth Vader since Disney has acquired the IP, it seems like the actual threat and power level of Vader has almost gone through the roof. The original Darth Vader was terrifying. The original Darth Vader was this huge bad guy, right? That everyone looks at and it's like, oh, he's a menace and all. But the new Darth Vader is a serial killer, which to me is like he's a slash horror type of villain, while at the same time being the icon of the Empire and all that. I actually love this. I mean, in Rogue One, it's probably the most terrifying, like, horror Star Wars moment we've ever had with Darth Vader, just like chewing through all of the rebels. And in Obi-Wan, while there's problems with it, and there's character development problems and all that people have talked about, Obi-Wan has some of the best Vader scenes I've literally ever seen. And so everyone's going around talking about all the problems there are, but all I'm seeing is Disney once again fucking killing it on Vader. Because we have Vader pull Jackie Chan kung fu out of his ass to badass destroy somebody without even using his lightsaber versus Reva. They have the actual, right before he melts Reva, he's got the straight up classic style Vader throw into the recovery, flashback to you think he's going to decapitate Reva, Dooku style. Like, I absolutely love the way they tied Anakin. Like, you know it's Anakin. You know, Anakin and Darth Vader are the same person. Everyone knows this, right? And the people in Star Wars that know where they're dead. But the difference with Anakin and Vader is after he goes in full mask mode, he's much stiffer, harder, slower, you know, more methodical, moving towards it with intensity all the time, where with Anakin, it was much more like flexible and etc. But what they did a great job in, especially in Obi-Wan, in my opinion, was tying Anakin and blending Anakin into Vader. You see Vader being stiff, and you can kind of tell it's because he's fairly new in the suit. At least that's the way I impression. It's like, look, it's fresh Anakin into the suit here. We're straight Inquisitor time. He's at almost peak power level, but he's maybe still a little clumsy in the suit. That's the way I took it, okay? On top of it, Vader's force power level in Disney has gone through the roof too. Before we had the force choke, classic Vader had force choke, okay? But I would argue Disney actually did a better representation of the force powers of Vader. We have stopping the lightsabers. We have pulling stuff like rocks straight out. He's shooting rocks at Obi-Wan. We've got him ripping the side of starships open, doing the Star Killer, grabbing the starship and bringing it to the ground. And at the same time, showing us the lessons of Anakin versus Obi-Wan to blend together Anakin into Darth Vader. And I might actually really like Obi-Wan for Darth Vader. The show almost developed Vader's character, in my opinion, better than it even developed Obi-Wan's. And that's why I was excited by the show. It's because, he runs around Leia and all that, and no one really cares about Leia. Like, for me, Leia was hard to identify as Leia. Like, if I see Leia and it's like, okay, that is Leia, young, I can see the same costumes, I see the buns in the hair, there's doing the personality type of stuff like she has, and we can logically tie it together, but I don't see it in her. Whereas Darth Vader since Disney, it feels like I can see the actual raw power in Vader. Now, this could be because the technology has gone on, technology's got better, and they can do better shooting. But in my opinion, the writing of it has been borderline flawless too. The cinematography and what's the word for it? I'm forgetting the word, but the planning out the movements of fighting the other choreography. Don't you know the choreography from Jingle All the Way? Who knows that one? Okay, it's turbo time. A little off topic, but anyway, now I'm getting confused. The choreography of Vader fighting Reva was so perfect. Like, they had him barely move. It was like somebody playing with their food, and being able to see how much Reva is like wanting to kill him and all that, and showing that she's an Inquisitor and she's strong and she leading all of the power up to her. I know she's got problems with her character that everyone's talking about and all that, but the point for me, Reva was actually a good character because Reva herself is not supposed to be a likable character, is the way I see her wrote. Like, I see her wrote as, you're not supposed to like her. You know what I mean? You're supposed to root against her because she's doing the wrong choices. I will say I don't at all like how the show ended with Reva coming back and carrying Luke and all that. I thought it was going to come down to, I honestly believed Obi-Wan was going to have to come down. She was chasing Luke. Obi-Wan was going to stop her and then have to, why Obi-Wan's like crying, kill her or something, because she wasn't able to turn back to the light and see the repetitive cycle of violence that she's doing, that Vader did to her. Like, I thought that would have been better writing, in my own personal opinion, and give weight to how severe Obi-Wan takes his burden to Luke. So I didn't like the ending of her, like, on her own with no one else there, coming to the conclusion that she's now a good person after basically proving for years that she's not. And we've already seen her slaughtering innocent people like it doesn't mean anything. So I don't know why all of a sudden now it means something, even though it's a kid. It seems like she's already crossed that line a long time ago because she has personal vengeance issues. That was my major problem with the character. But I liked the character other than that because I felt like she in particular embodied somebody you're not supposed to like on screen. Like, for me, if she was a likable, well thought out, strong character, the scene where Vader like dumpsters all over her wouldn't have felt so good, because you want to watch her get destroyed, and you get to watch her get destroyed by another Sith who has no mercy and is doing it at such a power level we haven't seen really displayed that much in cinematic Star Wars. So for me, the show wasn't that bad because I actually really absolutely loved the Vader side of it. It feels to me like Vader is getting scarier as time goes on. Like, they're writing more like of a horror aspect into Vader, which for me is like great. I actually think that fits literally perfectly because there's not really anyone in Star Wars that you actually feel legitimately scared of. You feel annoyed against them, or you feel like, yeah, I want my good guys to win, or whoever side you're rooting for them, but there's never anyone you're like terrified of, in my opinion. And it's the first time that I've seen Star Wars really do a terrifying Vader. And I had to go back and say, when did this start? And Rogue One was the first example of this I could see with the hallway scene. And the more I think about it, Vader is getting better with Disney. And maybe there's these other problems where it's like people are saying they're putting woke stuff in it or whatever. I don't know how much is that true. I don't really look at the political side of it and judge that. I look at it from like a nerdy Star Wars guy. Like, I just want to see lightsaber fights. I don't really want to sit there and debate about all this other stuff. And yeah, chasing Leia was annoying and yeah, all that. But we got some of the most badass Vader scenes I've ever seen out of the whole thing. And so for me, the show is like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. It could have totally been a lot better, I'm going to be honest. But the Vader scenes were cool.